very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Let's see here, 23rd day of October, 2018. George Grant saying very good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for today's edition of, it's here, Gudday Grenada. As always, we try to put together a very interesting and informative package for you. And things are just going to go, we're just going to go with the flow this morning. And I'll tell you why. You know that every Tuesday morning we're supposed to have Ray Roberts on here, and I'm hoping that he's still going to show up. But whether or not he does, I do have some other content for you in addition to the national report from the GIS, which, as you know, comes in the night before you see it here on Gudday Grenada. Now, I want to share with you this morning something which I published on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website yesterday. There's a Grenadian who is a senior political scientist. She's also the head of the Department of Government, Sociology, Social Work, and Psychology at the UE campus, Cave Hill, in Barbados. Her name is Gudday Grenada, and she published something which she sent to me yesterday. I published something which she sent to me yesterday, and I'm going to begin by sharing that with you this morning. Later on in the program, you're also going to hear from somebody who was actually supposed to be with us on Sunday, but due to very, very extenuating circumstances, he was unable to make it. I am referring to Francis Urias Peters. And Francis is here because that incredible play, which so many of you have seen and have been calling for again, is coming back. And he's going to give you all of the details and tell you a bit about that a little later on in the program. But right now, let me start with the piece from Wendy. It's captioned, oh, there it is. Almost forgot my remote control. It's captioned, "The CCJ, our own to embrace and refine." The referendum debate has thrown up valid arguments on both sides. Grenadians have proven that they can raise hard questions and respectfully confront burning, controversial issues. As Grenadians, we are often hard on ourselves. We do not sufficiently realize the extent to which our public discourse is a reflection of our collective selves. Unapologetically passionate and intense, yet cool, relaxed, and peaceful. We must never take this for granted. In many parts of the world, a highly charged issue, such as the decision on a country's final court of appeal, may lead to conflict and breakdown. Grenadians must be commended for utilizing various forms of media to ventilate the issues while remaining true to the essence of who we are. Against this background, I have chosen to write this article to address several issues in the debate and, importantly, to remind us of some of the core values that have defined us as Grenadian and Caribbean people. One of the contentions, I should say, against Grenada's accession to the CCJ is the, quote, "fix the lower courts first," unquote, argument. This line of reasoning has serious merit and should not be ignored. In 1993, I worked in the Ministry of Legal Affairs and was often frustrated by how under-resourced the justice sector was and still is. Unlike tourism and infrastructure, for example, The justice sector is not seen as a critical pillar of development. The debate on the CCJ offers an opportunity for a paradigm shift to elevate the justice sector as a national development priority. There can be no sustainable development without an efficient, fair, accessible judicial system. Access to justice is one of the hallmarks of any well-functioning democracy. Therefore, every arm of the judicial system must be adequately resourced and must function effectively. I commend the government for its plans to establish a halls of justice. This is long overdue. However, there must be short, medium, and long-term plans to arrest the problems that have infested the judicial system. The government needs to listen to the people it has been elected to serve, and with a sense of urgency, remedy the deficiencies in the lower courts so ordinary Grenadian women and men can have genuine access to justice. That being said, I believe it is equally important for us to have a sense of urgency to make the CCJ Grenada's final appellate court. Why do I say so? I am sure we can all agree that the world is becoming more dangerously insular, xenophobic, and racist. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council is not our own. We have no control over its continued existence. Sir Ronald Sanders reminded us recently that, quote, 8 of the 10 Commonwealth countries that still cling to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council as their final court of appeal are Caribbean community states. 43 of the 52 remaining Commonwealth countries, not counting Britain, have long since left this hangover of British colonialism, unquote. Britain itself does not use the Privy Council. What guarantee do we have that the Privy Council will always be available to us? So even as we fix the lower courts, as we must, I propose that we exercise strategic foresight and accede to the CCJ as Grenada's final court of appeal. If we do not do so voluntarily, we may be forced to do so by a British government that is becoming increasingly inward-looking. Another matter that has been raised, particularly by the Grenada Trades Union Council, is the question of Section 37(7) of the Grenada Constitution. In a broad sense, this section addresses the validity of appointments to all levels of Parliament. As it currently stands, given Section 37(7), election petitions cannot be heard by the Privy Council. The TUC is calling for an amendment to the current bill so that such matters can be heard by the CCJ. This is a valid call. The counter-argument by the proponents of the bill is, if the referendum is held in November and someone votes no on that basis, the status quo still remains. That is, the Privy Council will still not hear such appeals. However, advocates who argue against a rush to the CCJ are calling for a postponement of the November referendum to make that particular amendment to get it right. As a proponent of democracy, I am disappointed that the crafters of the bill did not have the fortitude to address this most important matter. Given Grenada's electoral history, an amendment to Section 37(7) would have allowed Grenada to break new ground by deepening democracy in that regard. However, as a political scientist, I am of the view that while such an amendment is noble, it is hardly likely that any ruling political party would champion this cause. Unfortunately, that is the reality of our political culture. If the NDC had formed the government in 2018 and had called a referendum on the CCJ, I doubt strongly whether it would have amended Section 37(7). Similarly, if the NNP were in opposition, it may have vehemently opposed the referendum on that basis. There is no win-win on this issue. It boils down to raw politics. Realist theorists remind us that it is not what should be, but what it is. Now, the question becomes, all things being considered, is the omission of an amendment to Section 37(7) sufficient to warrant a no vote on November 6th? In my view, since it is hardly likely that this amendment will be made by any ruling party, given the other benefits that the CCJ offers, Grenada's accession to the CCJ and its appellate jurisdiction should not be held hostage to partisan, zero-sum domestic politics. As Grenadians exercise the right to determine whether our final appellate court should remain with the Privy Council or whether we should accede to the CCJ, I wish to remind us of some of the core values that should define us as Grenadian and Caribbean people. First, given our history of subjugation, self-belief must always triumph over self-doubt. Let's believe in and embrace the CCJ as our own, flawed and imperfect as we are, but ours to claim and refine. Second, given our history of external domination, let's reach for that instinct within us that values freedom. Let us never forget that the Privy Council represents the relics of a colonial enterprise that stripped us of our ability to determine our own affairs. For former colonial masters, we were not human enough to think for ourselves. We were not human enough to chart our own course or master our own destiny. It goes against our dignity to continue to loiter on erstwhile colonial steps. How dare we hang on Why must we linger on? Whatever our political affiliations, what we have in common is a collective dignity that must be preserved. Let's show the Caribbean and the world that we can stand tall for a large cause. Third, since we were historically stripped of our humanity, we have a responsibility to redefine ourselves as we defend our patrimony. Finally, on the question of patrimony, I wish to commend the Save the Camahan Park Committee for its activism to save the park, whose use is undoubtedly part of Grenada's patrimony. My motivation to support the Save the Camahan Park struggle is underpinned by the fact that it is our own, and any self-respecting people must fight for, fully utilize, and defend what is theirs. In the same vein, as Grenadians prepare to vote on November 6th, the Caribbean Court of Justice and renaming of the Court Amendment Bill 2018, I am equally motivated by the fact that the CCJ is our own, ours to embrace and continuously refine. Folks, kind of lengthy, but I'll tell you, that is an opinion piece which was sent to me by Dr. Gudday Grenada yesterday. And if you want to go through that again, you can, right there on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website, you can check it out. We published that yesterday for you. My dear friends, I'll tell you what. Let me take a little break here, and we'll be back with the National Report.
Pure Grenada, the Isle of Spice, is more than a slogan. Grenada boasts some of the world's best spices like nutmeg, mace, clove, ginger, turmeric, and true cinnamon. These clean and naturally safe pesticide-free spices that were once available only in local markets are now one mouse click away at GRENADABROADCAST.com. Our spices are responsibly harvested in small batches to preserve freshness, unlike some bulk spices that sit around in silos all year round. Log on to www.GRENADAMarket.com and shop for Grenada's best spices. GRENADAMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
GRENDEC Community Partnership Initiative.
What we have seen with the quality of the debate, the intellect, the effort that has gone into this is a credit, first of all, to the debaters themselves. But it's also a credit to the teachers, to our schools, to our parents who would have worked with those students to get them to where they are today. Us who sit in Parliament should be inspired by what we have seen today, and I think we can learn something from what has been presented here today.
GRENDEC, energizing our community.
So babe, Alberto and Beryl come and gone, right? So that means we still have Chris, Debbie, Florence, Michael, Patty, Sarah.
From the looks of it, Tony and Valerie might be coming as well. So we need to pick up some extra hurricane supplies.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply Departments and the Food Fair supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's is an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan. Get discounts when using credit and debit cards.
Alrighty, folks, it's 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and I was just saying to Ray, by the way, is going to be with us this morning. He popped in a couple of minutes ago, and I was just saying to him, can you believe it? We're 20 minutes into the program, and the internet has not gone. It's actually happening. It's actually happening. Let me also say good morning to, hey, I'm seeing this name for the first time on Facebook, Sonia McKee-John. She's saying, hello. Don't know where Sonia is, but good morning, Sonia, and hello to you too. Bernard Gilbert is with us. Veronica Sandy is also saying good morning, and Jerry Hopkins is saying greetings to you, George, and to your listeners and viewers. My dear friends, I'll tell you what. Let's now turn to today's edition of the GIS Report, the National Report.
Regional leaders discuss future of LIAT in St. Vincent. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for today, Monday, October 22nd, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The future of regional airline LIAT is under the microscope. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and representatives of other shareholder government and stakeholders met in St. Vincent on Monday to discuss a number of options intended to secure the future viability of the regional carrier. Prior to his departure, Dr. Mitchell said the meeting could be a defining moment for the future of LIAT as they discussed the varying roles of shareholder governments, stakeholders, and the private sector. He added that the underlying premise of the discussions is that the traveling public must be better served and intra-regional travel encouraged. While in St. Vincent, Dr. Mitchell will also attend the 66th meeting of the OECS Authority, which is scheduled for Tuesday, October 23rd. Agenda items for the meeting include a presentation on climate-smart and investment-ready opportunities for the OECS, establishment of diplomatic presence in Canada, OECS membership in the Inter-American Development Bank, and the establishment of a fourth university of the West Indies campus in Antigua and Barbuda, and the implications for OECS member states. Minister with responsibility for disaster management and information, Senator Winston Garwe, says Grenada stands ready to assist neighboring Trinidad and Tobago, which has been severely affected by flooding and heavy rains over the last few days. As many as 150,000 persons were affected by the flooding in Trinidad and about 800 evacuated, while about 300 in emergency shelters. He said SEDIMA has been in contact with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management in Trinidad to determine the full extent of damage as a result of flooding. But up to Monday morning, there were no requests for external assessment from Trinidad.
We, at this point, from a Grenada perspective, are looking at ways how we can assist. Prime Minister Mitchell would have reached out to Prime Minister Rowley of Trinidad and Tobago to express his sadness as a result of the flooding. And we stand ready. Should there be a request for specific assistance, to call on the nation to assist in this regard. But at this point in time, as I said, as of 10 a.m. this morning, there were no requests for assistance outside of Trinidad and Tobago. The coordinating unit of SEDIMA will continue to interact with the Office of Disaster Preparedness, and they will provide update to us at NADMA.
Touching on Sister Isle Carriacou, Senator Garwe says they are ready to assist residents there as well.
Some six communities were impacted from the heavy rains over the weekend in Carriacou and Peter Martinique. They have made some requests, that is the disaster office in Carriacou, for assistance from the main office. We have prepared the supplies and looking forward to assisting our brothers and sisters in Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
And in a message of solidarity to the neighboring Twin Island Republic, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell said, and I quote, "Our thoughts and prayer are with our brothers and sisters in Trinidad as they find ways to cope with the devastating impact of flooding there over the last few days. The images we have seen provide vivid evidence of the extensive flooding that has rendered some roads impassable and left many persons stranded," unquote. Meanwhile, over on the Sister Isle, Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, Honorable Kendra Mathurin Stewart, is assisting residents of areas affected by heavy rains over the weekend. That improvement of the drainage and road network around the island will recommence very soon, especially in low-lying areas that are prone to flooding. The heavy rains resulted in a collapsed retaining wall along the Mount Pleasant Road and a fallen tree across the Prospect Hall Main Road. Minister Mathurin Stewart organized a brigade to immediately address the challenges and was joined by the Public Works Department and the staff of the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, NADMA, and the Northern District of the Royal Grenada Police Force. A visit was also paid to residents around the island who were affected by flooding.
We had rains for the last 3 or so days, and I'm just visiting and touring the affected areas. We've had numerous reports of flooding, especially in low-lying areas. This is one area that we've experienced flooding by residents in the area. So it's essentially visiting, and we're visiting with a team of members of the Public Works Division to be able to assess, of course, the damage that might have occurred as a result of the flooding in this and other areas. So we have visited throughout the length and breadth of Carriacou. Information so far reached us that nothing much has happened in Petit Martinique, and we're grateful and thankful for that. But we've had numerous reports of land slippage, fallen trees, and flooded areas, and we are here just to observe and, of course, to take note, to offer some sort of relief in the coming days.
The local NADMA office, in response to the Carriacou assessed needs, has provided some support to the staff of NADMA Carriacou to help with their continued response efforts. NADMA's contribution includes sleeping bags, wheelbarrows, spade, shovels, safety vests, rubber boots, and raincoats. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then started storm here, babe. Crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Welcome back. 4 health facilities on mainland and in Carriacou are earmarked to be retrofitted under the Smart Healthcare Project. That announcement was made at the recent commissioning of the island's first smart hospital, the Princess Alice Hospital at Maribo in St. Andrew. Grenada has taken several steps towards making each of its sectors more resilient. The country just wrapped up a 2-day global conference on health and climate change, which brought regional health leaders together to formulate an action plan to deal with climate change and its adverse effects, especially on health. Among the 4 facilities listed is the Richmond Hill Home for the Elderly.
We have planned, we're completing the design stage of 4 other facilities that will commence retrofitting in 2019. This is the Princess Royal Hospital and the Hillsborough Health Centre in Carriacou, the Richmond Home for the Elderly, and the Central Medical Stores. So look out for those.
That was PAHO consultant Shalini Jagnarine. Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele announced that every health facility has been assessed to be retrofitted under the SMART project. He said the aim is to make healthcare more affordable and accessible to all.
Throughout the SMART healthcare project, every healthcare facility in Grenada has been assessed using the HSI and GREEN checklist. Let me repeat that for emphasis and gratitude to those who assisted. Every healthcare facility in Grenada has been assessed. There is therefore a repository of data to guide infrastructure development and collaboration with key stakeholders. which should augur well as we seek to optimize resources available, scarce resources available, valuable resources available, to ensure that healthcare remains accessible and affordable to all of our citizens.
That story just brought the curtains down on the national report for today, Monday, October 22nd. Let's recap the top story. Regional leaders discuss future of LIAT in St. Vincent. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I'm Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for viewing. Until next time.
After a hurricane, exercise caution as you may still be in danger. Be alert and keep listening to the media for official instructions. Assume all wires are energized and stay away from them. Avoid water that is in contact with poles and lines. Report all emergencies and outages by calling GRENADA at 237. If your home or business sustains damage, and you are safely able to get to the main switch, turn off the power immediately. Get a licensed electrician to check your home for damage before restoring the power. GRENADA will ensure that island-wide power is safely restored within the shortest possible time, with essential services restored first. For more information, please visit us at www.grenlec.com.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
All right, take a look. Take a look. Take a look. There, look at that smile. Huh? He must have been to the beach this morning. I don't
Not
know.
at all.
You didn't go to the beach this morning?
When the rain falls like it is, George, it's just not good for me and you at our stage in life. Too much rainwater pours into the sea and debris, sift through the debris and what have you.
Yeah.
I prefer to take a pipe.
So you took the pipe this
Pipe-borne
morning.
water. That's right. Right. That's better. Hopefully it's better.
So Ray, tell me what's been going on since the last time we had you drop by with us?
Well, George, I think it's a period of sad news, a period of exciting news, and a period that we are entering of news that could be historical. And I start by saying sad news in the sense that we can say our colleague, journalism friend, the Saudi, I think the way he was butchered, seemingly by the state, is something we hope will never occur in life again, because it sends a chilling message, just like how we were all scared when Al-Qaeda started this dismembering of human beings. I think it's one of the worst experiences I think I've read about in my entire lifetime. And what is even worse is when we listen to President Trump speaks about the billions of dollars the Saudis going to make in investment in the United States. And he covers that up with the jobs that are going to be made available and plays down the death of a human being. I think it is terrible, and I want to commend the state of Turkey for keeping the news alive and keeping the perspective on the reality of the incident that occurred in the Saudi consulate. George, in our case now, we are heading to a period of history-making news, and the debate to the referendum continues. But George, what bothers me the most is the seemingly focus on colonialism and not content. Yes, let's rid ourselves of the British and what they left with us, rather than the content of what we're going into and the responsibility that we as a people ought to have in ensuring whatever institutions are there to monitor the judges and whoever going to manage this final court of appeal. I think we are too much hooked up on integration. That's good, nothing wrong with that. But there must be integration with a purpose, and there must be integration with scrutiny. Yes, I think the paper structure that we have read about securing the court, the selection of the judges, we want to commend those who came up with it. The only how it will make any sense and will serve its purpose, George, if we as citizens take the time and the responsibility to look at those documentation and really monitor it and ensure that the state, which has a reputation of undermining institutions, not just in Grenada, but across the Caribbean, and particularly in the OECS. I wish our debate could be on that. But as I walk around, I get a sense it's going to be an interesting, intriguing battle come November the 6th. And finally, George, I think whether we like it or not, we all are focused on the U.S. midterms election.
Okay, before you get to the midterm elections, I want to ask you this: what do you see as the solution? In light of the fact that there's so many concerns about the CCJ, what do you see as the solution, Ray?
Well, the solution is that it should fail on November the 6th. It should fail. I would hope it fails to get the 67-point-something%.
Okay, but that's
simply
not a solution.
Because,
that's not a solution.
Well, that's
an outcome.
It will bring a solution, because it means that I am for it in the sense that I believe we need to have more Grenadians, all Grenadians, study our Constitution and study the institution. I think just you lived in Canada, you had schooling in Canada. I spent 2.5 years in the United States, Miami-Dade. I had to, part of my course was the American Constitution. I had to have an understanding of it. Yeah. Even though I'm a foreign, I was there temporarily as a student. We need to make our Constitution some aspect of our education. People don't know it. And we all are on this bandwagon politically, not with a sense of responsibility. So I'm saying, yes, failure is an outcome, but I'm saying that failure provides those of us who are alive with the opportunity to then rethink and do it properly.
Okay, let me try a different approach. I guess what I was getting at, there's some who are suggesting that there should be a delay in the referendum. Do you think that's a possible solution?
Well, that was a great solution, came up with the Trade Union Council. And I thought Senator Andrew Lewis did a great job. But again, how much is that a part of our news and part of our debate? Unfortunately, the people leading the Constitution reform and the vote for the CCJ are all focused on, yes, gather up some Calypsonians and entertainers to promote, yes, and nothing wrong in that. But I'm saying they should have stepped back and help us to have a greater sense of knowledge of what we are going into. As I stop by the shops and so forth, people telling me, it's time to get rid of the police in the uniform as they are. Take out the wig from Chester Head in the Parliament, and all that kind of trash. The debate is not how you improve the police, how you improve the Parliament. It's about getting rid of symbols that really and truly are just symbols, not content. Yeah. So, George, I don't think right now the train is on. The train is maximum speed, and the train is for yes. Unfortunately, there are people like me who want that train to stall with a no.
I don't know whether you heard the early part of this program this morning.
I was driving.
All right, you were. However, there's a lady I'm sure you are familiar with, Helen the Grenade, Professor Barbados.
Oh, Wendy.
Oh, that one's Wendy. Wendy, yeah. There are two Grenades, Wendy and Helen. Well, the one who's the professor in Barbados, she wrote a piece which I published on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website overnight. And there's something here that would be of very great interest to you. She says, finally, on the question of patrimony, I wish to commend the Save the Camahan Park Committee for its activism to save the park, whose use is undoubtedly part of Grenada's patrimony. My motivation to support the Save the Camahan Park struggle is underpinned by the fact that it is our own, and any self-respecting people must fight for, fully utilize, and defend what is theirs. In the same vein, as Grenadians prepare to vote in November on the Caribbean Court of Justice and renaming the Court Amendment Bill 2018, I am equally motivated by the fact that the CCJ is our own, ours to embrace and continuously refine. So do me a favor, when you see your colleagues with the Camahan Park Committee, let them know that they have some support riding behind them out there.
Well, I can tell you, her father is there on the beach. I will see 3 times or more a week. He tells me that's where he finds renewed energy. I have a little conversation with him every so often. He's one of the frequent users of the park and the beach for his, I suppose, therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ray, thank you very much.
You're welcome,
always
my
a
friend.
Pleasure to see you on a Tuesday morning.
Good to be with you, my friend. And greetings to all your viewers and listeners, wherever they are.
They're all over the place, as
Great.
always. Thanks a lot, Ray.
God.
All righty, folks, we're going to take a little break here and come on back.
You want me to call it?
We have a date of history.
The issue for the 6th of November is to vote on a bill.
Could you enlighten the audience as to your motives for moving away from the JCPC?
It is necessary to give citizens of Grenada the right to appeal the outcome of general elections to the High Court, the Court of Appeals, and to the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Do we give funds to the Privy Council?
In Dominica, do you swear allegiance to the Queen?
The advisory committee really needs to take its role serious.
Whatever we have to give to our political opponents, we will give.
Vote yes, vote no. It's referenda on the CCJ in Grenada and Antigua. Join the discussion on Sunday, October 28th on Time to Face the Facts with host Jerry George, live at 8 p.m. on Caribevision and the Time to Face the Facts show Facebook page.
GRENADAB Community Partnership Initiative.
We're here in sincere appreciation to GRENADAB as a utility corporation for the donation of that rooftop solar generating plant. It would reduce our monthly bill. On behalf of the Hillsview Home residents and the wider community here at Gove, to just thank GRENADAB most sincerely for that thoughtful donation.
GRENADAB, energizing our community.
Conveniently located in the Grand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Alrighty, folks, as I mentioned to you, he's back. He should have been with us on Sunday, but couldn't because of a real emergency that popped up. And he's here with us this morning, Francis Urias Peters, playwright, and he's also the producer of The Burial of Miss Faithlyn. How are you, Francis?
I'm good, George, although I'm suffering a little bit with some sinus issues, but I'm alive.
Oh, you too?
Yes. Last night I came from rehearsal, and as soon as I hit the golf course, I don't know, once the breeze hit me, my sinus just got clogged.
Allergies?
Possibly. It seems as though there's something up there.
I don't envy you, they don't bother me anymore, but as a child, I had a hell of a time with sinusitis.
Yes.
Terrible time.
So I couldn't sleep last night, and it's a good thing I got about 2 hours sleep, but I got up in time to make sure that I had to come here this morning.
Well, I'm glad to see you.
Yes, thanks again for understanding.
Francis, so Miss Faithlyn, she can't stay away, can she?
The sin of the spirit never dies, you know.
Yes, spirit never dies.
Yes, and sometimes again.
You're going to try and bury her again?
Yes, for the last time, hopefully. You know, this play, we did that first in 1999. Then I think it was done over in 2003. Went to the United States on 2 occasions. It was done, we did it on 2007, but people keep asking back for this play, even though they would have seen it several times on the television. A lady told me she saw it 3 times, and she said, "Urias, if you're doing this play over again, I want to see it." And I realized you have a lot of young theater goers now who would not have seen that production. And so I said, well, listen, if that's the voice of the people, well then let me concede, and we're going to give it another shot. So Spice Basket called, because the place was booked up, both Spice Basket and the Trade Center, and then I called a call maybe about just a few weeks ago, and it says there is an opening on November 3rd. So George, I hardly had much time for rehearsal, so I just called my troops, called the cast and said, listen, are you going to take a leap of faith with me? And they says, yes, we are going to do it. So we have been practicing almost every single day up to this point in time, late nights.
So that's not this weekend, that's the following weekend?
Yes, on November the 3rd.
All right, let me ask you this, Francis. I mean, people have been talking about this thing ever since it hit the stage initially. Well, what do you think it is that gives this play that sort of longevity, makes people want to keep seeing it over and over again?
Well, 1, it's a comedy. 2, it's a reflection of our own behavior at funerals. They say funerals and wedding, the source of the most contentious behavior. And over the years, even before the play was done, I've been gathering these stories of incidents that actually happened at funerals. And I compile them. And this is one of the things about having a good play, is how you construct the play. So I was able to take all these stories, write a script, create characters, and give a continuous narrative. But I think it's so very funny. It reflects our behavior. It's a true to life. I think the characterization again, because you have an undertaker who is supposed to be an unscrupulous undertaker. The thing is, he's an underdog. He cannot hardly is getting any business, and according to him, if people ain't dead, he can live. So that character is Wilfred, played by Sylvan McIntyre, you know, and they say he's going to the hospital, quarreling with the nurses up there. You know, why are they feeding the old people? You know, why are they prolonging their lives for? You know, so that you have that, and you have Miss Faithlyn who is dying. You have the priest, there's the father. You have the next door neighbor at the bacchanal because she's playing her music too loud, and the woman is on her bed.
Did you guys hear about the Noise Pollution Act, Noise Control Act?
Maybe I'm going to put that in the script. Yes, yes. You know, so I think the characters are really, 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 really funny. But what makes it work also is that when I'm writing comedy, I do not actually force the comedy onto the situation. Everything comes out quite naturally, and that gives it, you know, that special element. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about the cast. There's a lot more that I want to talk to you about the work that you're doing outside of Miss Faithlyn.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
And I think that's going to call for a separate session with us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
However, let's talk a little bit about the cast. Is there a change in cast or the same cast you got this time?
So you have a slight change. I mean, you have Wilfred, who the Unscrupulous Undertaker has been played by Sylvan McIntyre. Sylvan, the serious man. And he's playing a Bajan. He's a Bajan, an unscrupulous Bajan, come from Barbados and want to be an Undertaker here in Grenada. And Sylvan is hilarious. You have Earl McLeish, who is the grave digger. He's a sort of subnormal guy, but he's very, 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 very funny.
Okay.
There. You have Agatha Alexis. She's also there. You have a new person, Kathian James. Kathian is playing the role of Thelma, who is the caregiver of Miss Faithlyn, and she's also is the common law wife of Miss Faithlyn's son, who is Stedman. And Stedman is not a very smart guy. He's a fisherman and also a farmer, but that role is being played by Karim Alexis, so he's back. And but you have some new ones here. That you have Hannah Douglas. She's playing the role of Ethel, the cantankerous daughter who comes back from the United States of America hopefully before the mother died, for her to know about the mother's money, because she's saying that the mother does not bank money, so she wants to come and get the mother's money before mama dead. So it's a real confusion. Bring funeral dress and everything for the mother.
Sounds so Grenadian.
Yes. You know, so you have that. So it's really a combination of some new actors and actresses mixing with the old. So it's going to be a really nice experience, you know. November 3rd, one show at Spice Basket, 8 o'clock.
Right. Spice Basket,
yes.
One show,
yes.
And that's November 3rd.
November 3rd. Okay,
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. We start at 8 o'clock, and you can get tickets from Grenadian Optical in Melville Street, and also at Spiceland Mall, $40. Children and infants, not infants, but school children, and under 16 you pay $25. Okay. Yeah, yes. So
all right, Francis, I'll tell you what, like I suggested, we're really out of time. To show you how far out of time we are, there's something else I had planned on bringing to our audience this morning, and it's a piece that was written by Claudette Joseph, and she sent that to me overnight. It is captioned, "Fix the Bill or the People Will Vote No." I had intended to do that for you this morning, to read that for you this morning.
Yes.
It's up on the Grenada Broadcast or website. Yes. However, I will present that to you tomorrow morning, okay? So please be sure to join us here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for the next edition of Gudday Grenada. Don't go yet. I'm not through with you yet. We still have some stuff, but we do have a break to take.
Pure Grenada, the Isle of Spice, is more than a slogan. Grenada boasts some of the world's best spices like nutmeg, mace, clove, ginger, turmeric, and true cinnamon. These clean and naturally safe pesticide-free spices that were once available only in local markets are now one mouse click away at GRENADABROADCAST.com. Our spices are responsibly harvested in small batches to preserve freshness, unlike some bulk spices that sit around in silos all year round. Log on to www.GRENADAMarket.com and shop for Grenada's best spices. GRENADAMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
After a hurricane, exercise caution as you may still be in danger. Be alert and keep listening to the media for official instructions. Assume all wires are energized and stay away from them. Avoid water that is in contact with poles and lines. Report all emergencies and outages by calling GRENADA at 237. If your home or business sustains damage and you are safely able to get to the main switch, turn off the power immediately. Get a licensed electrician to check your home for damage before restoring the power. GRENADA will ensure that island-wide power is safely restored within the shortest possible time, with essential services restored first. For more information, please visit us at www.grenlec.com.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Okay, folks, this is where we're going to pull the curtain down. I just want to re-acknowledge, if you will, the folks who are out there on Facebook with us this morning. Veronica Sandy says, George, lots of interruptions. Oh, Veronica, I know. That's the internet. I can't do anything about it, okay? There's a lot more to it than that, and I don't think this is the time and place to discuss that. However, thanks for joining us this morning, Veronica Sandy, Chester Simon, Jerry Hopkin, Bernard Gilbert, Sonia McKee, and others, McKee John, on Facebook. Folks, I never leave here without leaving you with something uplifting, and this morning's going to be no exception. I just have one sentence, which I hope you'll carry close to your heart throughout the course of this day, and that you'll feel a whole lot better for it. It's from Psalm 34, verse 17. That's it. It says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all of their troubles." Psalm 34, 17. You needed to hear that, didn't you? Huh? Telling me the truth. Of course you did. Yeah, I need to hear that every day. My dear friends, thank you very much for joining me for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. It's going to be up on Facebook. It's going to be up on YouTube. Go on back, listen to it at your leisure without the interruptions that Veronica was talking about. So, on that note, I'm going to send you God's blessings, and by His grace, let's get together again tomorrow morning at 9.